Alright guys, what is going on? Hope you're having a good day. Tomorrow's Friday. We're almost to the weekend. Alright, so what I want to do today is address some comments on my last video. For some reason, my last video really stirred some people up. Right. Am I striking a nerve with this whole, giving summer away or a private adoption to keep them from going to prison due to a CPS investigation? It sounds like I've struck a nerve. Interesting. So let me read one of the comments here, and I'll address them, because there's some stuff people don't really understand. They're not. Some of you guys ain't thinking before leaving some of these comments. That's okay. That's okay. Because when you're talking about Dawn and Candace, you're criminals, okay? You gotta think like a criminal, guys. Not like Billy Graham. Not like Mr. Rogers. These are criminals. These ain't your, school principals, doctors, nothing like it. These are criminals, so you got to think like a criminal. And these are criminals with a lot to lose, so that even raises the stakes. So someone says, if a private adoption had taken place, I would think the adopters would have come forward by now with all the case coverage, etc. Not necessarily. And here's what I want to explain, because a lot of people are saying, well, with all the coverage, and I might just do this. Next time I go back. Gotta get tires put on my car first. I think we all here on YouTube know about Summer Wells. But outside YouTube, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think a lot of people know. When Trevor was standing outside Bristol Motor Speedway handing out flyers, I'm kind of interested in how many people didn't know about Summer Wells. I'm telling you, outside of YouTube, guys, because it's taken on a life of its own here on YouTube, but outside YouTube, I really don't think there's a whole lot of people that know about Summer Wells, and I'm just being honest. So if you want me to go, and if there's another YouTuber that wants to do this, I'm sure it'll get a hell of a lot of views. I can do it, or if another YouTuber wants to do it, by all means do it. I mean, I plan on doing it, but if you want to beat me to it, go ahead. See what kind of response you get. But I plan to hit a few places here regionally and show a picture of Summer Wells to random people and ask if they know who she is. I'm just going to leave it at that. Do you know who she is? Because the thing is, if I'm a person who adopted Summer Wells, and let's say I'm in Johnson City, I'm in Bristol, Virginia, Greenville, Knoxville, anywhere regionally, and I've got Summer with me. So let's say I adopted her, or I took her in from Dawn and Candace, you know, to help them out so they wouldn't go to prison. Well, if they don't even know who this girl is when I show them a picture of her, they're not going to know who she is when I'm walking down the street holding her hand. You know what I mean? So I hope that puts things into perspective for you on that. Okay. So let me go down through here and okay, here's one. Adoption is not illegal. Why would they hide it? Okay, so let me address that. Why would Dawn and Candace hide an adoption if it's not illegal? Okay, maybe the way Dawn and Candace done it could possibly be a little illegal. Okay, but here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. You got to understand. Here's where thinking like a criminal comes into play. And I don't know if you missed me saying this in my last video or not, but if CPS found out and could prove abuse or neglect with Summer Wells, which is the only child they had, which was under the age of 8 years old, in the state of Tennessee, that comes with felony charges. Okay. And Don, if he told me himself, if he catches one more felony, he's looking at possible life in prison. So what would you do if you were looking at life in prison? I mean, a lot of people have answered it. Either kill her or, you know, just somehow get rid of her. So the state, so CPS, if Summer Wells is the actual evidence that's going to put me in prison for the rest of my life, and I'm that criminal, I'm going to get rid of her, right? Whether it's, you know, unaliving her or doing a illegal adoption, you know, finding somebody on the black market that would just take her. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it was done legally, okay? But Dawn over Candace has a lot more to lose over this. And with CPS doing an investigation into Summer, they were probably getting desperate because, you know, I can hear Dawn telling Candace, we've got to do something, because if they take Summer, you know, I'm screwed. Candace, Summer's gonna put me, if they get a hold of Summer, I'm gone for life. And then what's Candace gonna do? We all know she depends on Dawn, right? Rumor is that Candace didn't even want a girl. Rumor is Dawn did. But I mean, what good is Summer gonna do Dawn if she gets him put in prison for the rest of his life? You see what I'm saying? Are you following me now? Think about it. That's why they would call 911 and make it look like it was a kidnapping. because they're not going to be stupid and tell CPS, oh, well, we knew that you was going to be, you know, looking at my daughter for possible SA or whatever. So we done a private adoption. That way I wouldn't get in trouble when y'all found out, you know, that she was being neglected or abused or worse. Yeah. They're not going to tell CPS that. Like right in the middle of an investigation, when they're supposed to come back the next day or whenever. Oh, Summer. Oh, our daughter, Summer. Oh, yeah, we rehomed her. We adopted her out. Sir, why did you do that in the middle of an investigation? Oh, yeah, they're not going to tell. They're going to make it look like someone kidnapped her. They're not that stupid. I'm telling you guys, with CPS being involved with Summer Wells, according to the news confirmed it. CPS was involved. In my opinion, Dawn had a lot to lose, and that was linked to Summer Wells. Yeah, Dawn wanted a girl, but again, what good is having that girl if that girl is going to put you in prison for the rest of your life? Right? And I'm not saying that, you know, I know there's allegations of SA out there, but it could have been for neglect. It could have been for something as simple as neglect or abuse. Let's just take SA off the table. Dawn could be looking at life in prison just on neglect and abuse on Summer. Because in Tennessee, if she's under 8 years old, those are felonies. Those are some big felonies. That's why they would hide it. So I hope that answers your question. Because a lot of people are like, well, why? Well, if they adopted her out, why? Well, you know, why would they hide it? Well, they have to. They're not going to tell CPS. Well, we knew you was kind of coming back, and I knew I'd be up shit creek without a paddle if you came back and took her. So I adopted her out, man. I got one on you. No, they're not going to tell CPS that. This is like the only scenario that they could run with and get away with it. Now, where could Summer be if they did adopt her out? I don't know. Who would help Dawn and CANDUS with a black market adoption? Well, who would help CANDUS for 2.5 years after Summer went missing? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself who would allegedly spend thousands of dollars on Dawn and CANDUS supporting them after Summer went missing. Ask yourself that. I know it's crazy to think about it, but people's done it. People that supposedly even loved Summer. Sounds to me like they love Dawn and CANDUS more than they love Summer. So, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say as far as addressing some of the comments on my last video. So I hope that helps explain kind of where I was coming from. So, yeah. That's the reason why they would hide a black market adoption for Summer. And I'm not even saying they adopted her out. They could have found somebody that were like, yeah, you know, we'll take her. We ain't gonna say nothing. We'll take her. And again, well, wouldn't somebody with all this coverage, wouldn't somebody have seen her? Well, yeah, they're not gonna know it's her. I mean, hell, I will take some pictures of Summer regionally and just ask random people, hey, you know this girl? I'm just doing a test. Do you know who this girl is? If they say no, then hell, I could be sitting there, I could be standing there in front of them people holding her hand. They wouldn't know it's Summer Wells, right? So just because she's got coverage doesn't mean it's gonna help. I mean, if people hadn't seen the coverage, or doesn't really care, or you know, I'm telling you guys, outside YouTube, I don't think Summer Wells really has a lot of exposure. And the other thing too is, on the flip side, guys, let's address the flip side. Let's take rehoming and black market adoption. Let's just take giving her away to somebody. Let's just take it off the table. Let's just say allegedly Dawn and Candace killed her. Dawn or Candace. Maybe even Grandis. Because a lot of you guys think that maybe they killed her. Well, if that's the case, there ain't no amount of exposure I don't think is going to help. Because it would have already. Just like you said about the, just like you guys have said about, you know, well, there's been so much exposure. If she was adopted out, wouldn't somebody have seen her? Wouldn't somebody have known something and spoken up? Same thing goes if they killed her, right? But here's the thing. If she's not with us no more, and only 3 people know about it, I'll say up to 3 people, there could only be one person really know about this. I doubt it. The way things, you know, look and sound, it sounds like there's probably 3 people. If she's not alive, it sounds to me, from watching the behavior of certain individuals, it sounds like 3 people at the most know what happened. And unless those 3 people say something, you could be looking at another unsolved Rose case. Again, stop and think. Criminal. Gotta think like a criminal. If this was a family-related job, this ain't their first rodeo. They gotten away with it once. Who's to say they ain't gonna get away with it again? Right? Been 2.5 years, and like everybody's saying, well, if Dawn and Candace and Grandis done something to her, they'd have been arrested by now. So are we at the point where if she is not with us no more, then certain people just keep their mouths shut? Are they free? Is it going to be another Rose scenario? So I want y'all to think about that. And anyway, I just wanted to address that. Let me know what you think. And I'll jump back on here this evening with another video. I'll see y'all then. Y'all have a good day.